Okay, this video is about Robert Bateman. He's the greatest nature artist who ever lived. And there's been a lot of great nature artists, but he is the best one. I actually think he's the best one by far. He lives in Canada. This is a picture. This is a photo of him by one of his paintings of a bison here. I own. Well, here's another picture of him. He also has traveled quite a lot. I think he majored in geography in college so that he would get a bunch of free field trips, and he, took jobs where he'd travel all over the world. So he's also a pretty smart naturalist guy. The guy's obviously intellectually a genius. You can't be this great of an artist to not be just brilliant. Here is some of his books. I own all his books. My kids, I wanted them to learn how to draw when they were young. And I took them to some different art schools and several, like 4 different lady art teachers, and my children hated it. And I think the reason was why women don't tend to understand boys very well. They kept on trying to make them, draw a picture of a tree or a flower or something like that, or a butterfly. And my sons were like, man, I hate this lady. I don't ever want to go back to that class again. And they were about to quit. They told me to piss off. It's a waste of time for them to study art. And then what I did was I found a male art teacher who liked to draw nature, who let the boys draw army stuff. And then I also found Steve Irwin, the guy from Australia, with he's kind of like Crocodile Dundee guy, and he's really funny and entertaining. And they love Steve Irwin. And I also showed them the paintings of Robert Bateman. They were so magnificent. They're like, wow, this is cool. Because the way to understand a young boy is they're these little tiny creatures, and they want to grow up to be a big, strong man, and they feel weak. So when they draw a picture of an alligator or a crocodile or a gorilla, they feel strong, or an army picture or an eagle. So they identify with wanting to be strong like these dominant predator animals. And so that's what they want to do. And why not let them do what they want to do? That's normal, okay? So anyways, Robert Bateman's books, they're magnificent. You see this painting, you go, gee, that's magnificent. That must be the masterpiece of his career. But then the guy, he cranks out one after another like this, one after another. All of his books, they're magnificent. Okay, introduction by Roger Tory Peterson. So Roger Tory Peterson is the guy who wrote the greatest bird field guides ever made. So he's another, genius naturalist. He takes a tremendous amount of knowledge. I used to love bird watching when I was in college and at Stanford, and there's lots of people who will tell you that's how they became interested in biology, was by going bird watching. If you look at Watson, like from Watson and Crick, that's how he got into biology, going bird watching with his father. It's a great way to study nature. It's a great therapeutic thing. It's very enjoyable. I actually think they should take all these traumatic brain injury patients and let them go bird watching. They should have a nature place for them to go bird watching. I'll tell you, that would help them so much, because you have to use all your senses and to identify the birds and to listen to them, to hear their songs. And it's a low-stress environment, but it's very pleasant and it's very intellectually challenging in a good way. Okay, continuing with this, here's another one of Robert's big. Like I said, I own all his books. I used to go over these with my kids. We loved them. Okay, and here's just some more of his paintings. So here is Bald Eagle, magnificent, proud creature. And I love the way he draws nature like it is, proud and strong. And look at this face of this eagle. It's just, magnificent. Okay, here's the eagle in flight, the proud American eagle. I love it. Okay, here's some wolves, and you don't want to run into those guys in the forest. Rather beautiful. Here's a tiger at dawn, at the edge of the grass, getting ready to bolt out into the savannah. Rather scary individual. He probably weighs about 500 pounds. Okay, here's some swans by Robert Bateman. Again, they're magnificent. Here is a charging rhino, and I'm not even going to say what that reminds me of because I don't want to create a fuss at the moment. And here is Elephants by Robert Bateman. And here is a mountain gorilla by Robert Bateman. Look at that face. Here is a great horned owl by Robert Bateman. Just look at it, it's so magnificent. It's better than a photograph. It's just magnificent. It's perfect. The wise old owl, Athens, Athena. It's magnificent. Okay, and here is A bull moose, okay? Teddy Roosevelt, the bull moose. Look at him. You don't want him charging at you. So, anyways, that's just a sample of Robert Bateman. And if you look at his books and stuff, they're just full of stuff like that. He's got one after another masterpiece. There should be a museum devoted to him, in the big cities. He's magnificent. Because I used to think, oh, there's no more great artists. Modern art has just gotten rid of everything, and modern art is garbage. It's phony. It's stupid. But the reality is, there are great artists like Robert Bateman. He's the greatest nature artist that ever lived. It's just that people don't know about him. But they should know about him. He's magnificent. They should show his paintings in biology classes to the students.